Raging Justice is a game which attempts to emulate classic beat-em-ups like Streets of Rage or Final Fight, but ends up being vastly inferior. The first issue of the title is the graphics. The style is 3D rendered fighters animated in a 2D fashion, which could work and look decidedly late 90s in the right hands, but unfortunately here it just looks ugly. It doesn't really work. Everything is mundane and bland to look at, nothing really pops. It's just not vibrant, and in a beat-em-up, that's a problem. Beat-em-ups as a genre can be fairly repetitive in terms of gameplay, so they really rely on having a good premise and great artwork to keep things interesting as you go along, and Raging Justice really does not have it. To make matters worse, they use the very cheap looking font, which just doesn't look professional. That being said, the gameplay is alright. It's pretty standard fare. You wander down the street, either in single or multiplayer mode, beating up endless bad guys that keep repeating and using various weapons that you can find strewn along the street or inside a bar to bash them with. There's a few special moves and a mechanic that allows you to either arrest or finish enemies to raise either a bad cop or good cop rating, and there's 3 characters to choose from. It's pretty generic. The reality of Raging Justice is that it does not live up to its tagline, in which it claims to drag the classic beat-em-up, kicking and screaming, into the 21st century. Instead, it feels more like it's a polished version of those mid-2000s Flash titles which were popular on the internet. It doesn't do anything new or try and go its own way, and instead seems to rely heavily on nostalgic culture and retro marketing to get its point across. The music is similarly unremarkable, which is probably a bigger issue for any game that wants to emulate the classics, as those old beat-em-ups have some of the best tunes going, and they are very memorable. It's not like every classic inspired game needs to use chiptunes, but they really needed to put something together that stuck out a little bit more. Raging Justice isn't expensive, it's only £8.99, and it can be okay in short bursts. I'm sure it can run on pretty much any PC, and there will be some gamers that will get a kick out of it. For me personally, I just don't find it very fun. The company that made it, Making Games Limited, attempted to make a new Final Fight, but all they could manage was a new rival turf. It's the definition of mediocre and does not live up to any of its promises. I give it a 5 out of 10.